Get ready.
Hi, and welcome back to Trancing in the Sheets. My name's Kaz Riley, and today we're talking orgasms with Maryke Blom. Maryke is based in South Africa. She is a psychosexual specialist and does all kinds of amazing work, especially on the orgasm front, and we all like those, and we all could do with more of them. But before we go over to Maryke this morning, just a quick message to remind you that, of course, this show is sponsored by a wonderful travel company, and when you signed up for the network, you've got a $200 gift card. So don't forget to go and have that. Don't forget to activate it. Have a wonderful time with it. And if you want to learn how travel cards can help your business, then don't forget to put the word solutions in the box below. So Maryke, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's lovely to have you.
Thanks, Kaz. It's wonderful to be here with you today.
So we've got a really wonderful conversation. We've got an orgasmic conversation to have today. Now, first of all, I know, people often say, well, why are orgasms even important? So let's start there.
For so many reasons, for so many reasons. But let's first start off. There are the health reasons. Okay, so when you have, for example, a clitoral orgasm, it helps to reset the hormones in the body. It is so vital for women to have an orgasm. Let's not even then go into the fact that how amazing you feel afterwards. Orgasms just absolutely releases all the good, feel-good hormones, and it makes you feel sexy and sensual. And this is part of my work, is to help men and women realize that orgasms or sex is not about being a chore, but it's about reaching your sexy, sensual bliss.
Absolutely. Now, I know it's an interesting one because people often talk about the harder they try to have an orgasm, the harder it is to have one. And this isn't about getting people to try to have one, isn't it? This is about showing people, helping people to give themselves permission to experience orgasm in its fullest and most magnificent way, isn't it?
Oh, it is. And here's the thing, people like myself, coaches like myself, therapists like myself, we come in and we help you to get out of your head and get into your body, because listen here, guys, everything is about the body. And unfortunately, we live in a world where we've been taught to be in the head, not to feel, not to experience the body in its most magnificent way. We've been shamed about sex, we've been shamed about our bodies, and then we disconnect. And it's not about that at all. We should be inside of the body because it's got the most amazing pleasure. It has got the most amazing freedom. If you are in your body and you're able to experience everything, you're able to sit with your emotions, sit with your orgasm, sit with everything that you have, I tell you, there is tremendous freedom in that. You're going to become more energized. You're going to feel healthier in general. You're going to eat the right foods. You're going to start exercising. You're going to take better care of yourself, because you're going to realize the body is a real temple. It is the entrance to experiencing tremendous ecstasy and tremendous bliss.
And this is the thing, isn't it? I know we sing from very similar song sheets, don't we, about just permission for pleasure, the body, and that mind-body connection. And we know that, I know I spoke with Anna Ferguson about this, how if it's in the body, it's in the mind. If it's in the mind, it's in the body. This is a feedback loop. It's not just about having one or the other. And of course, with orgasms, there's not just one kind of orgasm, is there? This is the thing. I think people get very kind of genital focused, don't they, about this kind of little rush down here. But actually, we can have mindgasms, full body orgasms, all kinds of stuff. Tell us about your work with that, because that's just lovely.
Okay, so I work with a whole range of different orgasms. Okay, I anchor orgasms in my clients in that they can, if there's a certain spot on the body that they want to be touched, then that orgasm will then come through that area when you touch it or stroke it in a certain way. But I also work with energy, full body energy orgasms. I work with chakra orgasms, and I work with your mindgasms. I work with a whole range in helping my clients to reach that, even through breath. Yeah. I have helped my clients through special breath work, experience some of the most intense ecstatic blissgasms, really, is what you want to call them, that they've ever had in their lives. And you know what, when they have these experiences, they just function on such a higher level. So my work is complete. And also, there's one more thing that I want to add in there, is I also help my clients with their, using their orgasm to reach these beautiful levels of productivity, for example, because very few people realize how much their productivity actually is connected to their orgasms and to their orgasmic pleasure states.
Well, and to their energy, isn't it? Because if you're holding back and shut down in one area of your mind or your body, then that it's very, you can't, it's like, when we say you can't squash down one emotion and not another. So you have to squash down everything. So by allowing people to kind of be completely kind of euphoric, engulfed in that kind of sexual orgasmic bliss, then they're allowed to be completely engulfed and euphoric in every aspect of their life, aren't they?
Absolutely. And I found that my clients step into their authenticity then. They're less inclined to kind of censor themselves. Mm-hmm. They start becoming more who they were always meant to be, because the nervous system is in such a much happier space. It's balanced. It helps. They go into a space where they can self-regulate much better, where they self-soothe better. They go into these spaces where they are really so fearless within themselves, and that they go, well, I don't need to shut the hell up anymore. I don't need to repress myself. My truest, beautiful, potent essence can finally come through. And that is what is so important about this work, about being orgasmic in nature. Because let me share a little secret with you that I will tell you. I do a lot of breath work, and I've done ayahuasca journeys, and I've done, your magic mushroom journeys and stuff like that, along with my work. And I have done the breath work, and I will tell you, in every single experience that I've had, the message came very clear through to me that life is orgasmic. And you need to find that orgasmic nature of life, and you need to, whether it's through your breath work, whether it's through whatever it is that you're choosing to use as a tool, hypnosis, etc., or blissnosis, you need to get that beautiful experience of your bliss into your life and experience the orgasmic nature that is life.
And I think this is such a key kind of point, because people very much separate, don't they, their kind of sensual, sexual selves from other areas of their life. And actually, ultimately, we are sensual, sexual beings that move through life. And if we allow ourselves, and that then, plays into every aspect, because then we are experiencing life in a pleasure-filled, pleasure-expected kind of way. So then, the sun seems to shine brighter. The leaves on the trees are greener. The wind on our skin feels better. It's about living wholeheartedly and letting go of a lot of the shame that we feel attached to pleasure, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Here's the thing, we have repressed our sexual nature for so long, but let me tell you, that babies in utero masturbate. So what does that tell you? It's second nature to us to experience our bliss. It's second nature for us to experience, pleasure and orgasmic things in life. And I'm not saying that we should dissociate, that we should not feel grief or sadness or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. We don't want to spiritually, emotionally, or physically bypass. That's not what I'm saying. But you can experience total ecstatic bliss and orgasmic experiences in your life while still being grounded, while still going through life, experiencing life. But this is it. It's not going to push you so far off kilter that you feel like you can't function in life any longer. And this is why orgasmic nature, bliss, is so incredibly powerful, because we need to come back to to being able to have play and pleasure, whether it's in business, whether it's in parenthood, whether it's in the bedroom, whether it's just being on our own. We need to be able to tap into that pleasure.
So absolutely. I know it's my favorite word through all of these shows, is absolutely, because I'm agreeing with so much with what the people I'm interviewing are saying. But it's so important, isn't it? I know you have something called Sex Magick, which we'll come to in a moment. But I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? Society through the ages has changed. I know I speak a lot about this, how in the past, you know, we have the Druids, the Egyptians, the pagans, the Greeks that had a much more kind of open attitude to sex, where things kind of were allowed, that, you know, people could interact, they could feel pleasure, and in fact the pursuit of pleasure wasn't seen as a bad thing. And then, of course, you know, it was really kind of the advent of a lot of Christianity. And we're not knocking religion here, we're not saying that, but we're just saying how, you know, there was the introduction of shame and guilt around pleasure. And I think that generally has had a very kind of dampening effect on how people can view their relationships, view themselves, view their sensuality, their sexuality. And even when we're talking about, you know, kind of children, it's natural for children to touch their genitals. And it's just because it's a pleasurable feeling. It's not even about sex. You know, at that point, you know, kids are prepubescent, that we're not talking about children being sexual. Yet we live in a world now where everything is over-sexualized, but very little is sensual or sexy or connecting or pleasure-filled. It's just about those stereotypes that we have now. But I know you have you've been working very hard on something called Sex Magick, and, you know, sex should be magical. And I know that's, you know, that encompasses lots of things. So tell us about that, because I think that's a really important move forward within our field, certainly.
Oh, it is. So Sex Magick is really nothing new. It's not a brand new thing. Sex Magick has been used by the Druids, by the Greeks, by, you know, every ancient civilization, basically, in their rituals. Now, we as the human, you know, we as human beings, we are actually, you know, ritual is part and parcel of who we are, right? It is so important to us now. And this is where I started really delving very deeply in Sex Magick, because I found that it had shifted me profoundly in my own life and in various things. Now, Sex Magick, I started studying it from, you know, the Kabbalistic ways, from the, you know, the way that the Druids did it. And I went and I researched so much about the, you know, I started training in Tantra, and I just really delved very deeply in it, and I found a hell of a lot of passion for this beautiful ritual, because I'm actually generally not a person that likes to do a lot of ritualistic stuff. Like, you know, you would find your modern day witches they love their rituals. I'm not that much into that. But for me, when it came to the Sex Magick, I was like, yes, this is a ritual that I can really, really get into, and I did. And it brought me out of fatigue and exhaustion, along with a lot of other methods. But this especially helped me to get my business really on track. It helped me to move out of that incredible, like, staleness, like, stuff feels stale, and you know, and it just put me on that next level to use this beautiful arousal orgasmic states that I have to bring in the things that I want in my life. Now, you know, Sex Magick, first of all, is like the law of attraction, but on sexual steroids. Okay, sexual energetic steroids. So
I love that phrase. What a cool phrase. So let's just repeat that. Sex Magick. It's like sexual energy on steroids.
Yeah, that's your orgasmic energy it's like on orgasmic steroids, like really orgasmic steroids. If there's a visual that comes to mind, it's like seeing tons of fireworks just going off, and I mean tons and tons and tons of fireworks, and your goal just being shot out into, you know, the entire universe, and, you know, it just becoming something real and turn into matter. So I've been working on a program that, you know, I'm especially going to be marketing towards, you know, your business owners that's feeling down and tired. But, you know, Sex Magick can be used to kind of bring in, if you're single and you're looking for a partner, it's something to start helping you focus towards bringing your partner into your life that you want. Because a lot of people have crappy, you know, relationship patterns that they need to resolve, and, you know, this is something that can help bring them into that space. Especially a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with worthiness and deservingness, and this program really gets into cleaning out the worthiness and deservingness which was created when you were in your formative years. Because that, you know, people they're not scared of failing or succeeding. They just don't feel that they're really worthy and deserving of their goal. And this is what the Sex Magick is we're using pleasure, we're using your sensuality, we're using your breath work, we're using your arousal, and we're then using your orgasm to bring in what it is that you want in your life or your business, in your relationship. It's you know, it can be used by couples to really cement their relationships in a profoundly powerful way. It can be used by people that feel that their life has become stale and that they are so tired, they're so fatigued because everything's so heavy in life. And it is my job as the orgasmic pleasure queen to bring that orgasm back, to bring that pleasure back in your life. And that is what my work is about, and that's what the program is all about. And that's why what, you know, me teaching my clients Sex Magick is all about, is bringing back the magic into your life, bringing you back to your roots, so that you know, because like I said, the brain loves ritual. Now, this is a beautiful ritual. This is a beautiful thing that you can do on a daily basis, you know, to make sure that your dreams come true, to make sure that your you know, your experience become true, because you're at that moment so focused on what it is that you want. There's no place for doubt in that few seconds. And believe me, those few seconds is like the strongest laser on this planet, or well, if there's any aliens out there, they probably have insane lasers, right? So this is like, this is beyond imagination on how powerful of laser focus you have in those few seconds when you experience your climax, right? That you focused on your goal, and that's enough. That's absolutely enough for you to get that life force, that libido, to get your goal into action and to start taking the right steps. I have personally experienced that I would go into Sex Magick practice and go, I don't know what I want to do, and I'm feeling confused, and how do I structure this? And as I'm in the middle of this process, the answers come to me, because guess what? The critical mind's out of the way, right? No, you can't do that. Oh, you're mad. That's, you know, and it removes all of those outside influences that is stopping you from having what it is that you desire. So this is a very powerful practice, and I'm excited about bringing this to the world and the magic that it's going to bring into people's life, because let's face it, especially nowadays, we need this magic. We need pleasure. We need play. You know, there's so much crime, there's so much pain on this planet. There's, you know, every few moments, and it's not that we're burying our heads in the sand, right? But how much can a nervous system really handle when you're bombarded with kids being stolen, you know, kids have just been abducted for sex trafficking, that kind of thing. You know, you sit there and you feel so absolutely lost and helpless. But what if you could use your Sex Magick practice to, let's say, accumulate wealth and start healing so much more of this planet? What if you came up with ideas on how to save lives? What if you could use your Sex Magick practice to really make a difference in this life instead of feeling helpless and hopeless?
And that, I mean, I think that's a real key, isn't it? I think, excuse me, in terms of, you know, it's a lot to do with hope, isn't it? And it's about kind of connecting people back in with themselves and with life and with the universe and with each other. And to do that kind of, those Sex Magick practices help people to really connect in with themselves, to feel, to experience. And if you're feeling good and you're experiencing things, then you pass that out into the world, don't you?
Absolutely. It is like a drop in the ocean, right? It just ripples out.
Yeah.
I'm a better person for this. I'm a better person. I'm a better therapist. I'm a better person. I'm a better girlfriend. I'm a better friend as a result, because I'm not sitting there a cranky old bitch that's exhausted, fatigued, and just have no time for the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Because I'm a better person for this practice.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. We need better people, whether you're a civilian, whether you're a therapist, whether you're a doctor, doesn't matter what you are, who you are. We need better people on this planet. The more there are of us, that is so much better, and we are so rooted and grounded within our pleasure, within our play, within our absolute core strength, the better the world will become.
Well, this is it, because then outlooks change, don't they? I think the world is becoming more and more a negative place, isn't it? And it's become a much more materialistic thing rather than a feeling thing, isn't it? You know, people are judging their success by what they have rather than how they feel. I'm sure you're the same. I have a clinic full of people that often have things in abundance, but their feelings are very quashed. They don't have very much hope. You know, their sex lives aren't good. Their relationships are breaking down. So by doing this, it's kind of readdressing the balance to the stuff that truly brings you pleasure in life. And actually, you know, it's about connection and sharing and all those amazing sensations that we can create within ourselves, for ourselves and for other people. And that's got to be a lot more powerful than, you know, a lot of, like you say, law of attraction, I think, is often misunderstood about it being about wealth. And actually, you know, abundance is actually about, you know, whole life things, isn't it? You know, it's not just about money. It's about, you know, it's about love. I mean, if you have an abundance of love in your life, then, you know, the hard times are always going to be much easier to deal with than, you know, than if you've got, you know, an abundance of money, for example, as an alternative. If you've got both, fair enough. But, you know, it's just putting things back in the right place, isn't it?
It is. You know, here's the thing. Yes, you know, wealth, I have no issue with people being wealthy at all. Well, when I'm actually rich, I have no problem with people being rich. But even the rich people have their own issues. And, you know, when it comes to getting back into that tremendous, and I mean tremendous power that you have inside of you, Kaz, you know how deeply powerful we really are as human beings. Deeply, we are deeply powerful. Few people understand when I say that to them. When you are that deeply powerful, you're actually one of the most wealthiest people on the planet, because here's the thing, you can be wealthy in your knowledge, wealthy in your love, and when you have that tremendous love and you have a group of people around you, you are considered tremendously wealthy. Because let's face it, when you are capable of giving so much love and being so open to receiving it back, because that's the problem of the universe these days, people are so scared of embodying love, unconditional love, unconditional acceptance even towards themselves. And I'm not saying accept, you know, the crime or anything. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you get to a point where you realize that person is doing something stupid because they're in pain, or they don't know what it is like to be loved because they've been harmed themselves. When you are capable of transcending all of that and you feel that deep, true union with every individual, because Kaz, you and I are connected, even if we are thousands of kilometers or miles away from each other, you and I are connected. We are connected with every individual on this planet. When you're capable of really feeling that, the way that the sex magic and the orgasmic practices actually helps you to feel, you become this force of nature for good. You become this person, because, you know, I used to be driven by money. I know exactly what it's like. I was driven by money. I neglected my relationships. I paid for it terribly, something terribly. I neglected my health. I paid for it. It was the day that I went into my bliss and orgasmic experiences, and the moment that I realized how connected we are, and that my relationships were way more important, that if my orgasmic blissful nature was in place, right, everything else would fall into place, and it did. The moment that I stepped into that truth, into my pleasure, into my play, into coming with, okay, and I stepped into that, how can I make the world a better place today? How can I bring more bliss into the world today? How can I use my skills and my tools and my knowledge that I've learned to really uplift many thousands of men and women? Things fell in place for me. I didn't do it. It's not because, oh shit, I need the money. It's not because of that. It's because, how can I make people so happy? How can I bring my message across? Because that's my North Star, right? And that shows us how much wealth we really have. I have a lot of people in my life that would do anything for me, because, and it's not that I want them to, but it's just, and I would do anything for them, but it's because I'm wealthy. I'm wealthy in that way. I'm wealthy in ideas. I'm wealthy in creativity. I'm wealthy in energy. I'm wealthy in health. I'm wealthy in friendships. And that is a truly magnificent life to live it.
Absolutely, because all of that means you're living your life wholeheartedly, isn't it? You know, and allowing yourself to be vulnerable, and, you know, all of the things that often, you know, people people very much fear. So, you know, that kind of sex magic and just the magic of life really is, you know, and orgasms are part of that. Of course, as people learn how to experience that pleasure, then, you know, what they then do by default is live more wholeheartedly, because they've accepted a part of them that often they felt very shamed about, isn't it? And, you know, a lot of what we do, I think, is helping people to kind of get rid of that kind of shroud of shame and guilt that really didn't need to be there. You know, it was just about opinions and control from, you know, whoever was in power at the time. Sadly, we've run out of time. These interviews just whiz past, but I'm sure I can ask you very nicely, perhaps suggest as a hypnotist that you come back on the show, and, you know, there's many things that we can talk about, because you are one of the people. The reason why I asked you to be on here is you are a therapist, a hypnotherapist that truly walks the talk. You are actually out there doing this stuff with clients. This is what you do day to day. And this is kind of what I really wanted to get across with this show was, you know, there are those of us out there that are out there working with clients in this way, and hopefully helping other people to work with clients with their sexuality and sex and orgasms and all the wonderful stuff that we do, and for them to lose their shame and their feelings about sex as well, because we need to do that, I think, as therapists to be really effective. So tell us, where can people find you if they wanted to know more about your work? I know you're based in South Africa, but you work internationally, don't you?
Yeah. I work internationally. I've got clients in Europe. I've got clients in the USA, everywhere. So everybody can find me on social media. So I'm on Facebook. I market incredibly hard on Facebook. You'll see a lot of my mouthy posts on there, and I do push the norms, and I do piss a lot of people off, but that's part of my work because I gotta wake you guys up. And then I have got a VitaFlow a website, and it's www.vitaflow.co.za. I'm sure that somehow, Kaz, there's going to be a place where we can upload that for them to see, right?
That will be captioned on here when that comes through. But I'll just repeat that in my British accent, which is www.vitaflow.co.za or ZA if you're in the States. And that's where you can find Maryke. And just huge thanks for coming on the show for me today. So appreciated. It's been lots of fun, orgasmic even. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Kaz, for having me. It was amazing. I loved every moment. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And if you're enjoying all the episodes of Trancing in the Sheets, then, you know, I've had some amazing guests on this show. So check out some of the episodes. Also on the Hypnosis 247 Live Network, there are 8 of us, one of whom is the wonderful Sean Michael Andrews. And I just seem to make him go red. I'm sure maybe talk of orgasms might make him go red, but he's had some amazing guests on his show. So don't forget to check out that. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Get ready.